I stopped watching YouTube last week. Now I know more about what's happening in my space than when I watched 3 hours a day. Let me show you how. Twice a day, I get this message from my chatbot on Telegram. This is from my personal AI assistant. Her name is Kai. Here's one at noon. It just happened. Said there was 15 channels watched, and there were 5 new videos, and then there were 4 transcripts processed, and here's new insights that were extracted, 40 of them. Okay, and then down here we see, congratulations, we crossed over 1,700 total insights. Then right here, right after that, I received a message that said, looking at your 1,700 insights, here are some significant gaps, things people aren't talking about but should be. And look at this. This is gold, folks. These are my next videos that I can create. Now, let me show you the system that's actually generating this data. All right, this is the web interface for my chatbot. The name of the system is called Bashed and Claw. It's a system that I developed. And what it allows you to do is gather these insights on demand or on a scheduled event like I described. So you can see here that I have 1,700 insights over 161 total sources. You'll notice that my top insight has 3 sources, okay? And then this will build up over time. Now, as you come down, you can see the different categories of my insights that have been extracted from these videos. They're across many different categories, okay? And then you'll see here's my top insights. For example, right here, let's take a look at this one. This is a good example of an insight, a generalizable concept that was extracted from 3 different videos. We can take a look at the sources of the videos. You can see that 3 different channels said the same thing essentially. And my system correlated those, corroborated that idea or that insight for me so that I didn't have to. And I can click on any one of these sources and go down to the exact moment that was said. Okay, so it works like that. Now that's the insights. At the bottom here, we can see the sources that they actually came from. Okay, and so you can see I have 161 sources. This one has 10 insights linked to it and so forth. Okay, I also track these YouTube channels that I'm interested in this dashboard. And you could see here, I have 182 videos that I've been tracking. And you could see here that I even sort it by views per hour. So these are the most hot trending videos in the topics that I'm interested in right now. And I can click on any one of these and I can go into them. But these are all in my system, so I don't have to watch these videos. And then what I can do is I can take that up to that higher level of knowledge, which is what I just showed you in the chatbot, where it was able to show me the gaps. Now here's the key. That took only 15 minutes this morning. No videos watched. Let me show you how this actually works and how you can set it up for yourself. Now you may be thinking, this is just AI summaries, right? It's not. A summary compresses the video into fewer words, but you're still passively consuming someone else's narrative. What I'm doing is fundamentally different. I'm extracting standalone principles and cross-referencing them across dozens of sources. That cross-referencing part, that's the whole game, and nobody's talking about it. There's actually a framework for this, a pyramid that explains why most people never get past the first layer. Let me show you where you are right now. There's a concept in information science called DIKW pyramid. It's data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. What you just saw in the demo, that's the full pipeline. But most people are stuck here at the bottom in the data layer. Every video you watch is raw data. Every article you save, every podcast you queue up, you're collecting material you never process. Watching another video doesn't move you up the pyramid. It just makes the pyramid bigger. The question isn't, how do I consume more? It's how do I move up? Moving up starts with understanding what an insight actually is. And it's not what most people think. It's not a summary. It's not a bullet point. It's something very specific. Here's what most people get wrong. They think an insight is a note about a video. The creator talked about hooks. That's not an insight. That's a summary bullet. An actual insight sounds like this. Audience retention drops 40% after the first value delivery if no new hook is introduced. You see the difference? That's true regardless of who said it. It transfers from video to video. You can use it yourself. In my system, every insight has two parts. A short abstract thesis, that's usually 10 to 20 words, that captures the core idea. Then source-specific context, the exact quote, the timestamp, the detail. That abstract thesis is the key to everything that comes next. It's what lets the system match ideas across sources. So that's what a single insight looks like. Now let me show you what happens under the hood when a new video drops, because the extraction process is where most people's minds start to change. Here's what happens when a new video shows up on a channel I'm tracking. Step 1, the agent pulls the transcript. No watching, just text. Step 2, it reads the entire transcript and extracts 10 to 15 insights. Each one gets a category, a context quote, and a timestamp so that you can trace it back if you want to. One video equals, let's say, 12 insights and 0 minutes of watching. And here's the thing. Here's the magic. This is happening for every video across every channel I track automatically. Now, extracting insights from one video is useful, but what happens when you've done this across 50 videos or 100 videos or 200 videos? That's where something genuinely surprising happens. When you ingest 50 videos, you start getting duplicate ideas. But they're not word-for-word duplicates. They're the same idea said differently by different people. One creator might say, AI makes production cheap, but strategy expensive. Another says, execution is commoditized. Taste is the new bottleneck. This is the same insight, just different words. Before storing anything new, the system searches the entire database using semantic similarity. Not keyword matching, this is meaning matching. It uses a hybrid search, something called a BM25 for keywords, and then a vector embedding for meaning. All running locally, no cloud APIs at this point, no data leaking or leaving your machine. When it finds a match, it doesn't create a duplicate. It links the new source to the existing insight and increments the count of sources. That's how the system knew those 3 creators in the demo were saying the same thing. The impressive part isn't the extraction, it's the matching. But dedupe or deduplication is just the mechanism. What it enables is something far more powerful, and that's the reason I built the entire system. Look at this. This insight has been independently expressed by 8 different creators. None of them know each other. One person saying something is an opinion. You can take it or leave it. But 5 people independently arriving at the same conclusion without coordinating, that's a pattern. That's real signal in the noise out there. You didn't watch a single video, and now you know more about the consciousness of your space than someone who watched all of them. There are 2 kinds of people consuming content right now. People collecting data, watching video after video, feeling productive, getting those dopamine hits, and people processing the data upward into ranked, corroborated knowledge. Which one are you? But here's the twist. Corroboration isn't the end game. There's a level above it, and nobody is talking about that. I mean, no one is talking about it. Remember the gap I showed you in the demo? when my text message said, this is what people are not talking about? Let me explain what's actually happening here. You take your top corroborated insights, the ideas backed by 5, 6, or 8 sources, and you ask one question: what's missing? What are all of these creators assuming but never saying out loud? What's the contrarian take that nobody's making? What topic are they all dancing around but never addressing directly? Here's the key. The value isn't in what everybody is saying, it's in what nobody is saying. The gap, the silence between the patterns, that's where original ideas live. That wisdom layer, you can't get there by watching more videos. You get there by processing what exists and then staring at the void. Every new idea you'll ever have comes from looking at what exists, noticing what doesn't. Now, all of this sounds great in theory, but it only works if you have a system that can actually run it. And it can't be some fragile SaaS product that goes down or changes its pricing on you. Let me show you what's powering all of this for me. The system is called Bashed and Claw. It's an open source project that I created. I actually forked another project and improved it. It runs on your machine, not SaaS or in the cloud. It's not a chat GPT wrapper. This is a personal AI assistant built from the ground up on Claude Agent SDK. You can talk to it through Telegram or a web instance or even by voice. Here's why it can run unattended overnight. Every agent session runs inside of a sandboxed Linux container, a real virtual machine. It can browse the web, run code, process content, but it can't touch your file system except for what you explicitly give it access to. You see, it's in a box. That's the whole security model. It's called OS level isolation, not permission checks at the application layer like some of the other projects like OpenClaw do. And the code base is small on purpose. One Node.js process, about 500 to 600 lines of code that if you cared to, you could read, but it's really not necessary because others have read it for you. But you can read and understand the entire thing. I want to be honest, this isn't magic. It's a simple system that does one thing well. That isolation is exactly why it can run while you sleep. And the automation layer is simpler than you would expect. You set it up with a simple text message, perhaps in Telegram. Here's the message that I sent my bot. Every night at midnight and day at noon, I want you to check my YouTube sources for new videos and ingest them into my system. That's it. That Telegram message is all that it took. No cron jobs, no scripts, no technical mumbo jumbo. The agent just does it for you. That's how the dashboard you saw at the start of this video was ready at 7 a.m. when I wake up. The agent ran overnight while I was sleeping. Yes, you heard that right. I have a night shift. I unlocked productivity while I'm sleeping. And that's what I want for you. I used to spend 2 to 3 hours a day watching YouTube for research. Now I spend 15 minutes reviewing the insights my agent extracted while I slept. And when I need a new capability, I don't configure anything. I create what's called a skill. It's a plain English text file in a single file that I give to my bot, or I just ask my bot to create it for me based on the concept that we've been working on. You see, it's skills over features. You add exactly what you need and nothing more. Setting this up is simpler than you might think. I'll show you. It's only 3 commands. 3 commands, that's it. The first one is a git clone command, and you give it the address of the GitHub repo. The next line in command is you cd into that folder that was downloaded. And then you simply execute Claude. Now you need to have Claude code installed, and you can check out my other videos for that. But once you have Claude up and running, then you just type this command /setup, and it will walk you through installing everything for you. You don't need to read a single line of code or understand any of it. It would just walk you through each step, and it will help you set it up very easily, like having an expert there with you. This works on Mac, Linux, and Windows through WSL2. 10 minutes from clone to a running Insight pipeline. That's how you get the dashboard I showed you at the start. Let me put this all together for you, because the distance between where most people are and where they could be is smaller than you think. We all start at the bottom of the pyramid, taking in data. That's raw videos piling up, raw blog post, podcast, and images. Then we moved through extraction. We talked about turning those videos into a standalone principles that can be abstracted and correlated across others. Then we did deduplication. We matched those ideas across sources, no matter how they were worded. Then we corroborated them. We ranked them by how many independent sources back each idea. And finally, we perform gap analysis, looking at what's missing and finding original ideas in the silence. Most people will never leave the bottom layer, not because the content isn't good, because the consumption model is broken. The gap between corroborated patterns and the silence all around them, that's where every original idea you'll ever have comes from. So we'll end where we started. Which would you rather have in a day? 47 videos and 0 retained ideas? Or would you rather have 47 videos ingested into your system overnight, 200 insights extracted, and 30 corroborated ideas across multiple sources, and 5 gaps that nobody else has noticed or is talking about? Same content, completely different outcome. If you're thinking this sounds complicated, remember it's just 3 commands. The AI guides the rest. If you're thinking it only works for YouTube, it also ingests articles, PDFs, podcasts, anything you pointed at. If you're thinking that you need to be technical, the entire setup is in plain English. You just talk to the bot. Bastion Claw is the open source tool that we've been talking about. You'll find a link in the description. I also run a free mentoring community where we build systems like this in public and support each other. The link is also below in the description. So stop watching and start extracting.